This is Jim from theplumbinginfo.com. Today we're going to be installing a sump pump. This is going to be an overview of the tools we're going to be using. Sawzall, level, pipe wrenches, tape, pipe saw, drill, channel locks, and screwdriver. Hammer and gloves. Here's a typical material that we would use for a sump pump installation. We have our 1.5" PVC. We have 3 different check valves here. These 2 being silent, the 2 on the left, the 1 on the right would be a normal check valve. Most check valves, they can come in any different color, shape, or size, so don't get stuck on these 3 valves. Here's another piece of 1.5" pipe because we cut a 10-footer, which is a normal amount of pipe we would allot for a sump pump installation, with the 1.5" male adapter already glued onto the end of it. Step 1, we're going to unplug the pump. Then we're going to take the check valve apart. It's important only to take the bottom of the check valve apart. The top is still holding the water back. Now the pump is free from the check valve. Now we'll take the cover off. Move the pump. It's a good idea to try and grab hold of the pump itself, not the piping. Now we're going to remove the pipe from the pump. Right now I'm standing on the pump body. We're going to move the pipe in a counterclockwise motion. And now the pipe is free. Now we're going to measure for the new pipe for the pump. And the easiest way to do this is to put the tape to the bottom of the pit. And we're going to measure up to the check valve. We know this check valve, the pipe is going to be long. It's a lot easier to have a longer pipe than make a couple complicated measurements and possibly be wrong. Now we're going to cut the pipe. It's very important to make sure that we wear our safety glasses. Remember your measurements. We know it's going to be long, but it'll save some time later. Cleaning off the burrs off the pipe. Now we're going to glue the male adapter onto the pipe. First we're going to use purple primer. Purple primer is required in some cities to show evidence that the primer was used. We're going to prime both pieces of the pipe and the fitting. Again, we have the safety glasses on. Now we're going to go to the glue. And we're going to push it together with a slight twisting action and hold it in place. Now that the glue and primer has set on our 1.5" male adapter that we glued, we are going to drill the weep hole into the 1.5" pipe. It's important to drill the weep hole so the pump does not become airbound when you use a check valve. Now we're going to install the pipe into the pump. It's very important to take your time getting the adapter into the pump because we don't want to cross thread. You may feel some resistance, but as long as it's going in smoothly, we know we have it in properly. Now we're going to finish tightening the pipe into the pump. I'm standing on the pump while I turn this. That should be enough. Now we're going to set the pump into the pit. It's very important to handle the pump by the pump and not by the pipe or the cord. Okay, now it's time to figure out the height that we want the pipe. We knew we cut the pipe long, so rather than using a tape measure, we know that this right here is the bottom of the check valve, and we want the pipe to be approximately right below that, so we're going to make a mark right there. We didn't even have to measure. We knew we were long, and we're not going to be short of pipe. Now that we put the pump back into the pit, we want to make sure that the float, which is right here, is not rubbing up against the side of the pit. Next step will be to put the cover back over the sump. First, we're going to thread the cord through the hole that has the elongated slot and set the pipe or the cover over the pipe. Let the pump go down. We're also going to want to make sure that there's no slack from the cord sitting in the pit. This is going to be one of our last steps. We're going to put the rubber coupling to attach the pipe to the check valve. Want to make sure that the coupling has made it all the way home. Then we're going to tighten the hose clamps. You can either use a nut driver or a flathead screwdriver. And our last step will be plugging the pump in. The pump is cycling, and we'll make sure that we don't have any leaks. After checking for leaks, if we had any leaks, most likely they would have been confined to this area right here where the rubber coupling is, and we would have just tried to tighten this up a little bit more. After doing that, this concludes our simple sump pump installation. For further information on sump pumps, please visit theplumbinginfo.com.